Hey everyone, my name is Dan Shimolinski. People like to call me Shimmy, and you can too. So today we are taking a look at Hybrid Tools Evolutions. This comes from the Hybrid Cinema series, which is truly possibly my favorite of the categories in Soundpaint. This kind of stuff just gets to the core of Soundpaint right out of the box. Huge hybrid sounds, blending the acoustic with the electronic, with the big and brassy and the deep and synthy, to create that big characteristic Hollywood trailer sound. Hybrid Tools Evolutions is kind of a continuation of Foundations. Foundations covers a lot of ground. Foundations, kind of your bread and butter Swiss Army knife of this style of sound, if you will. Evolutions is a little bit of an extension on that. You're seeing things like Cursed, Breath, Spells, Black Ops, Whooshes, Speed, Monster. There's a little bit more of a otherworldly, spiritual, darker, more sinister spin to this library. Let's jump into it, and I think you'll get the vibe pretty quickly. Cursed Breath is a good one to start with because I feel like it sums up a lot of the character of this library right off the bat. So you're getting very treated, very spooky kind of breathing sounds at various lengths. We definitely have some shorter ones, some longer ones. Perfect for any kind of like horror underscore or anything dealing with the spiritual. Then we've got Cursed Intrusive. Still definitely can tell those are breathing sounds, but it's a little less literal than the breath part. And Spells, talking about literal. So some kind of ambiguous phrases there. I don't know specifically what's being said, but this stuff is great, especially if you kind of layer it and play a bunch at once. Just sounds like all these spirits kind of like hovering around you, right? Black Ops is going to be kind of more industrial sounds, kind of rough. Think like covert military operations style sounds. So definitely more techy, more glitchy. As I said, we're dealing with darker. I hear like nighttime. I hear like night vision goggles. You know, that's kind of the vibe that I get in terms of the imagery of this one. Then we've got Defcon Deflector Shield. These are kind of shorter hits, less ambient. But still in that same glitchy, techy vibe. And if you want literal hits in the style of that kind of Defcon vibe, we have two parts for you, hits 1 and hits 2. some hits too. This stuff just sounds so great out of the box. On their own, they're just so perfectly treated and perfect for the vibe and the set. Like, man, that just takes so much time to perfectly dial that in. The stereo imaging, the EQing. And then we got risers and whooshes in that same sort of style. Oh yeah. The hybrid aspect of this library, to me, is air combined with electricity. Then we gave you some drones. Nice big sustains with a variety of the more tonal, less tonal, but still that kind of windy overtone on all of this stuff. And then this one's really fun. This is kind of a drum kit style part. Got some kicks. Some snares. Some hats. It's just like really noisy and gritty. I love stuff like this because you can really create awesome drum sequences with like less conventional stuff. You know, stuff like that. Great for action sequences. Just a really, really all-inclusive drum part there. We gave you some dub effects, so this is going to be more in the style of like dubstep-y stuff, I guess. Then we give you some Megahorns. Two parts of that. You see what I mean? Like, this is sort of in the sense of like Brahms kind of stuff. Here are two literal noise parts. That's a useful one right there. Oh, I love that. And Speed Monster, this really gives you that kind of motion that you hear in a lot of the parts we've listened to already. So a lot of gating, a lot of stereo image play. I love this stuff. This is such a fun library. We got stingers. Okay, now we are officially entering horror mode. I mean, it's been suspenseful and dark, but there are literal screams coming now. Zombies have arrived. Oh, perfect for jump scares or any kind of just like crescendo to a moment sound. Then we've got some super hits. You tell me how this is different from Defcon hits. A little bit bigger, a little bit juicier, a little more to the point, right? And the cool thing about this is, like, every key is different from the next. All right, you ready for some actual literal screams? This must have been fun to make. Then we have these two Taiko parts. Swells, long and short, kind of self-explanatory. But again, it's Taikos with noise, with distortion. You could get the Taiko library. We have Taiko risers, but like that kind of gritty, noisy sound. Out of the box, it's fantastic. I love this part. It's kind of one note in the sense that it's literally one note. I think this is a one note time stretched style part, but what a great ARP this is. In a second, you're going to see a program where I used that ARP as kind of the foundation of the part. Here's tonal bass. It is tonal, technically, but there's a lot of noise and distortion happening there. Let's see if we get more tonal from Tonal Choir. Definitely has tonality, but you're getting a lot of wind, a lot of grit. Oh yeah. And then finally, more whooshes, because why not? These are a little harsher, a little less techy than the Defcon whooshes. So that's a brief rundown of all the parts that you get with evolutions. But let's go ahead and get into some of the programs that I made for this library. We have some ARPs here at the top. I promised I would show you the program that I use that ARP for because I'm quite proud of it, and it's called One Key Preparation. So yeah, I'm quite proud of that one. Let's check out the ARP section here. We've got this one called Action Sequence. Then I tried to use a couple of the drum kit style libraries. We have the dub effects on part 2, morphed with the drum kit on part 1, and then Defcon Deflector Shield comes in with the mod wheel. Let's see what that sounds like. Here's one called Dub Sequence, utilizing the dub effects part and Defcon Whooshes. Just a great little suspense kind of sequence sound. Here's some Taikos for you. Let me show you a couple of basses. This one's called Basscious. So what is that mod wheel doing? It's pushing an EQ band up and increasing the sustain of both of the parts. So you get less of a hit and more of a long sustain. So a really, really dynamic, gritty cinema style bass. But apparently it's not the best bass part, because I went ahead and named this next one best bass. Let's see. This is a hidden gem that you will only get if you have the J8X library, but I think you'll see it's pretty fun and worth it. Super noisy, super gritty, but you're getting those two chorusy kind of synth parts in there. Really a nice touch. Here's one kind of emphasizing the noise aspect of this library. It's called Ghosting. Now you'll notice that the glitchy sound is kind of random, right? It's because quite literally I have a random LFO assigned to the sample division of the bit brush. Here's another hidden gem, but you should all see this one because it comes with the free 1928 grand. It's kind of a windy, gusty, noisy piano sound. Here's one from Marissa called They're Here. As you can see, this uses two parts from Foundations, so this is another hidden gem. But that's great because Evolutions definitely is an evolution or a continuation of Foundations, just a very different timbre. I'll show you one more. This one's called Voices Rising, and you're gonna see that I have two kind of more tonal-centric cursed spell parts. Here we go. Now you might be noticing that also brought in a low part, right? That bass sound, we find that on part 5 and 6. So I'm using those two bass layers to kind of give a little bit more tonality to this sound. I'll isolate those for you. I'm using a one-note stretch on the drone part and then just the tonal bass part. Here's a quick run-through of some of the other programs. So you're getting the vibe, you're getting where this stuff's coming from. I mean, this style, this kind of cinema trailer style stuff is only going to become more and more useful. And to get the grit, the darkness, the spiritual, the otherworldly is just a great addition to your toolbox in Soundpaint. I've said it before and I'll say it again, it's a score in a box. It really, really is. I mean, this stuff just sounds great the minute you push a key. So definitely encourage you to go pick this one up. As I said, it is available now along with all of our amazing other libraries at soundpaint.com. Anyway, that's all I have for you today. Thanks so much for tuning in and I will see you next time. This is Shimmy, signing out.